So I built my dream bike, and this was my first time ever building a complete bike from the frame up. And these are 7 lessons I learned, things I wish I would have known before I ever turned that first wrench. Lesson number 1, and this is a big one: invest in the right tools. I got so caught up picking all those shiny parts, pieces, components that I overlooked some essential tools I was gonna need to complete this build. Things like a headset press, or the right size hex bit to install those cranks down there, the barb tool you use to install the little barb on the end of those hydraulic brakes. Luckily, my local bike shop bailed me out, let me borrow some tools, and helped me complete this build. But trust me, do your homework before you start building a bike. Get the right tools. It's gonna save you a lot of time, money, and potential damages to your bike. I had this cheap 3-way tool I was using. It's cool, it's super convenient. It's got 3 different bits on it. You can actually flip those bits around to have even 6 different options for bit options. Super quick, convenient. I've kept this thing on my tool bench, and I use it sometimes to work on my bike. But the bits are just, they're not machined, I guess, precise enough, so they didn't fit quite good enough in the brake levers, and I ended up like kind of marring the, not stripping it out, but like almost starting to strip out the bolt a little bit on those expensive brakes. Using a cheap tool like this, get the right tools. Lesson number 2, and this is where that dream bike look that I was going for almost tripped me up. Form over function. You never want a bike that looks better than it actually performs. When I chose the Privateer 141 Gen 2 frame set, it was all about functionality. Bomb-proof design, super easy maintenance with external cable routing, flip chips for that adjustable geometry, allowing you to throw a 27.5 wheel in the back also if you want to. But it wasn't long before shiny parts started calling my name. I already had the Fox Factory 36 fork with the Kashima stanchions and those orange lowers, so I definitely wanted to go with that kind of orange and Kashima look. And don't get me wrong, the bike looks amazing, but I definitely made some choices to keep this bike looking good that I'm now questioning. Like that fancy dropper post back there, Kashima coating. I could have saved a lot of money going with, a P&W dropper post, something that doesn't have that Kashima, but I just had to get it to keep, this bike looking the way I wanted. Definitely chose form over function. Or what about like that Garbarroot cassette back there? That wheel-top EDS wireless shifter. I went with wireless because I wanted like less cables, but having that combo of that wireless shifting with that 12-speed cassette has been, way more of a pain to set up and get shifting smoothly. Definitely was something I chose for looks, and if I had to do it all over again when building this bike, functionality and performance would have been my top priority. Lesson number 3, time and patience is your best friend. I was so meticulous ordering this frame and all the bits and pieces, making sure everything was just right. But as soon as those boxes started arriving, I got major build fever and I couldn't wait any longer. I had a couple parts that were delayed, and I decided to just start wrenching and building the bike anyways before everything even arrived. I started rushing, led to mistakes. Case in point, I ended up smashing an olive when I was fitting that brake line in there, and found out later, that it was leaking hydraulic fluid, had to pull the brakes all the way back apart. I really wish I would have just taken my time. Rushing only leads to errors that are going to cost you more time in the long run. Lesson number 4, and this is a tough one for my pride. Let me know if you guys can resonate with this. Don't be afraid to ask for help. I've been tinkering with bikes for years now, but a frame up build is a completely different beast. I was determined to do this all myself, and when I ran into some issues with like the crank spacing and trying to get that chain line just right, I beat my head against the wall for way too long. Luckily, I have a couple friends I ride with that are pro mechanics down at the local bike shop, and big thanks to them, I wouldn't have been able to complete this build without sucking up my pride and finally asking for help. If I had to do this build all over again, I would have asked them for help from the get-go. Right from the start, asked them to help me build this bike, help me troubleshoot those little problem areas that I might have had, maybe even have them help me like film on the other side of the camera here, because sometimes making these videos, setting the camera up, getting all the different angles complicates the build process that much more. Now on to lesson number 5, and this is an important one for any of you first-time bike builders out there. Making mistakes is all a part of the bike building process. This was my first time doing a complete build from the frame up. And yeah, I definitely had some oops moments. But honestly, those little screw ups have made me a better mechanic, gave me a better understanding of the bike, and are gonna help me build bikes better in the future. So don't be intimidated by doing a bike build like this, and don't be discouraged when you make mistakes. See those mistakes as opportunities to learn. Lesson number 6, and this is for anybody putting themselves out there: don't listen to the haters. We all have our dream bikes, whether it's something off the shop floor or a custom build like this one behind me. I got a couple comments of people criticizing this dream bike build, or maybe criticizing the specific components I chose to put on this frame. But you know what? At the end of the day, this is my dream bike build, not yours. And how boring would it be if we all showed up to the trailhead with the same exact stock bike? Build what you love, ride what you love, and don't let anyone else rain on your parade. And finally, the biggest lesson of all, lesson number 7, I learned the incredible satisfaction of DIY. Selecting everything yourself, every piece and part, exactly the way you want it. Building a true, one-of-a-kind bike that only you have. Installing each part and component and kind of watching that bike together, watching that dream come alive. It is an unbelievably rewarding experience. Woo! That thing is looking so good out here in the sunlight. There's a real sense of accomplishment, like riding something that you built completely from the frame up yourself. I've purchased plenty of bikes from local bike shops or online retailers, and nothing comes even close to comparing to that feeling you get when you build your very first dream bike. And if you guys have ever built a dream bike yourself, I would love to hear your comments down below. Let me know, like, what was your favorite part of building a dream bike? Did you regret it? Was it worth it? If you guys have made it this far, definitely like, subscribe to the channel. I'll see you guys in the next video. But most importantly, remember, no matter what bike you have or what bike you're riding, at the end of the day, it's all about getting stoked, going riding, and having some fun, people.